due to the absolutely amazing and lovely Halo community. Commenter that told Brandon, whose comment I'll put up here so you can read it again, and my amazing friend Lord Pyromon, I will be taking a look at the older Halo games before Halo Infinite, because Infinite was my first Halo game. Yet I will not be looking at them through the original hardware, as that is something that I sadly cannot afford, so I will do it through the MCC, the Master Chief Collection, which I hope is okay for everyone. I will look at these games in chronological order along with the sentient coffee mug Lord Pyromon, starting with Halo Combat Evolved, the first ever Halo game. The reason why I am not reviewing these in the format Older Gold simply is because these are monuments in gaming history, and putting a rating of aged well or didn't age well feels a bit wrong. So we will not be doing that. It will be a normal review and its own kind of mini-series here. So I will give my perspective as the Halo noob I am, while Lord Pyromon for this video will give his perspective on someone who actually played these games when they came out, while also providing some background context. So let me summon him real quick.
Man, I'm getting real sick of being flung through time and space without my consent. Oh, hey, Kuro.
Hey Pyro, I summoned you so we can talk about Halo Combat Evolved for a video. I hope this isn't too sudden.
You know, to talk about Halo, it's helpful to first set the stage of the game's history. Said history actually lies in a completely different trilogy of games made by Halo's developers at Bungie. I'm of course talking about Marathon. Marathon is a trilogy of first-person shooters about a cybernetically enhanced soldier fighting off a regime of alien conquerors with the help of a sarcastic AI on planets filled with remnants of a lost civilization. In other words, it sounds absolutely nothing like anything you've ever heard of before. After the completion of the Marathon trilogy, they ended up shifting gears a bit to work on Myth, a series of fantasy RTS games and a pretty major departure from their previous titles. After the modest success of Myth 2, the people at Bungie decided to start work on a sci-fi sister series to Myth, kind of the StarCraft to Myth's Warcraft. Development of the new game, codenamed Blam, went swimmingly for some months, except for one little problem. It sucked. After a few developers started messing around controlling the characters directly rather than issuing commands like a traditional RTS, they realized the game would be way more fun as a shooter. And so on that day, Halo was born. Except it wasn't called Halo yet, they ran through some other titles first, but for the most part, Halo was born.
Halo Combat Evolved is, as all Halo games, a first-person shooter and was released November 15th, 2001 for the Xbox and later ported onto PC. It was re-released in the Master Chief Collection, which is shortened to MCC, on the 11th of November 2014. Jesus, that's by definition retro, which feels oddly wrong. The story starts off strong and drew me in quite immediately, and I'm not used to such good quality stories in shooters. I know this comparison doesn't make sense, but if you think about something like Call of Duty, the story is just there to give you some sense of purpose, while in Halo it literally feels like I'm playing a movie, which is what I think games should be aiming for. Not just with the graphics, but with the story as well. The story starts after fleeing the Covenant's destruction of another planet. The crew of a ship discover a ring world orbiting a gas giant. When the Covenant attacked the ship, the captain entrusted the ship's AI, Cortana, to Master Chief for safekeeping. Master Chief manages to escape the soon-to-be-destroyed ship and escapes onto the ring world. On the ring world, Master Chief rallies human survivors and leads a boarding party to rescue the captain from the Covenant's clutches. Keyes reveals that the Covenant call the ring Halo and believe it is some sort of weapon, after which Cortana sends you to collect all the keys for the Halo ring.
Halo very well might be one of my favorite science fiction stories of all time. but you honestly wouldn't guess that from just this first game. Nowadays it feels like a very run-of-the-mill video game story, but you really have to consider when this game came out. 2 years after Combat Evolved, co-creator of Doom John Carmack was put on record saying, "Story in a game is like story in a porn movie. It's expected to be there, but it's not that important." While there were certainly a plethora of narratively driven games at this point, the realm of shooters definitely put story to the side in favor of focusing on the action. Before Halo, the only major exceptions to this were Half-Life and immersive sims like Deus Ex and System Shock, and all of those games at the time were PC exclusive.
The graphics are great. Both the normal graphics that are back from the original and the graphics of the Anniversary Edition. While I do prefer the original graphics, I do have to say that I really hate the fact that some passages are just pitch black darkness, even if your lighting settings are fully correct. Luckily, that isn't the case with the Anniversary graphics, so I can actually see where I'm going, and if you play on mouse and keyboard, it's very easy to switch between them by just pressing your tab key when you're in the campaign. But other than that, I think the graphics are just amazing.
The Anniversary graphics are divisive, to say the least. Many models in the remaster were lifted directly from the much grittier Halo Reach, which ends up clashing hard with the rest of the game's aesthetics. That's not even going into the way that the Anniversary graphics mess with the artistic intent of the levels themselves. The most egregious example of which is at the beginning of 343 Guilty Spark. In the original graphics, the jungle setting is dark and moody, giving a foreboding and mysterious aura that gives you the idea that something more dangerous than the Covenant might be lurking around this ring. The dark atmosphere of the level is a major tonal shift from the gung-ho adventurous nature of the Silent Cartographer and Assault on the Control Room, and a perfect lead-in to the reveal of the Flood. Meanwhile, in the Anniversary graphics, they lit the jungle up with spotlights and bioluminescent plants for some reason. The foreboding horror-like atmosphere is almost completely gone, and therefore so is the heavy tonal shift from the previous levels. It just feels like none of the changes made in the Anniversary graphics put any consideration for the artistic intent of the original graphics.
The gameplay is a fun mix of exploration and gunfights in a world that feels vast and grand, even if it's very linear, but it never feels this way at all. The controls themselves are really good, even if I didn't get how to switch weapons at first, but I like the fact that it is a conscious decision you have to make, instead of being on a scroll wheel. The only thing that seemed odd at the start was that one couldn't sprint, but that isn't a huge issue in my eyes, as most of the time you either have a warthog lying around and you already move quite fast. The gunfights themselves feel like a mix between a tactical shooter like COD and an arcade shooter like Doom or Bolt Gun. It is very responsive, even more than some modern examples that I can think to right now. I don't really have any issues with the gameplay, and it's a lot of fun. The Warthog's controls are a bit wonky and make me wonder how I got my actual driving licenses, but it's a lot of fun to drive.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Oh god. Where are they? Also, als ob ich das Warthog da durchfahren kann. Du willst mich doch verarschen.
It really can't be understated just how revolutionary Halo was, at the very least on consoles. This was one of the first games that let you aim with a thumbstick, and the only other game that let you do that back then was Alien Resurrection on the PS1, and by comparison, that game's not very good. Halo's control layout just felt so good and natural that it became the industry-wide standard for every other FPS game going forward even to this day. That's not even going into the enemy AI in the game. In most other shooters around the same time, enemies would just stand there and shoot at you until you took them out. Just look at how enemies act in Quake 2 or Perfect Dark and compare it to how the enemies act in Halo. Unlike those other games, enemies in Halo will bob, weave, and duck in and out of cover to avoid your fire. They'll advance on your position or even retreat if they get overwhelmed. Even to this day, Halo's enemy AI continues to be impressive. Because of this AI, every encounter in the game is like a miniature game of chess, where you have to anticipate what the enemy is going to do next as you advance your objective. In a way, you can feel Blam's RTS DNA shining through into this part of the game. You find yourself thinking more tactically about positioning and how to approach each individual enemy, more so than most other shooters even now.
For the multiplayer, Pyro was generous enough to set up a multiplayer lobby for us so that I wouldn't have to worry about the hackup situation that's possibly still going on with the Master Chief Collection. Pyro made a video about it if you want to learn more. And pretty much all I can say is that the weapons are really smooth and feel great in the campaign as well as in the multiplayer. And generally I can just repeat what I said about the campaign here. Except that if you know where the weapon spawns are, well yeah, you're going to fucking dominate.
Look what I have!
Damn, where do you keep getting that?
I found it up here!
The gameplay itself is slow enough that I don't feel overwhelmed like I often do in Call of Duty or other fast-paced action shooters, but are also fast enough so that I'm not just sitting there minding my own business half the time, like how I often felt was the case in the game Verdun. The maps are interesting to say the least, and as I just mentioned, it really determines who wins on who knows where the weapon spawns are, but I still managed to clutch out a win or two with Pyro. I'm still proud of myself for that.
There we go.
Ah, shit. I mean, there was no
You can never
point in
separate
doing
an
this
Austrian
again.
from his Panzer. Of all the Halo multiplayers, I've actually probably had the least experience with Combat Evolved. So playing a few rounds with Kuro was actually really refreshing and helped remind me what made this game so great. The thing that really sets Halo's multiplayer apart from its contemporaries at the time, like Quake or Counter-Strike, or even its contemporaries of today, like Call of Duty or Battlefield, is the focus on emergent gameplay through its physics. Not to mention the plethora of different game modes like Capture the Flag, Oddball, and King of the Hill, adding a lot of variety to gameplay as well. At its core, the thing that sets Halo's multiplayer apart from other shooters is, while it can be played competitively, it's not a competitive shooter. It's a party game. And like any party game, it's best played with friends.
Pyro, do you want me to send you back where you came from or back home? Because I can send you to both locations. It's not hard for me to do.
Nah, I think I've had enough of portals for a while. I think I'll just get an Uber or something. They have Ubers here, right?
Pyro, you know that we're in hell, right? Yeah, we do have Uber here, and it's actually way better than Uber up there. But I don't think they can really take you to another realm. Plus, if they could, it would probably be extremely pricey.
Oh wait, we're in hell? I thought we were in Indiana. Well, in that case, I know a shortcut.
Huge shout out and much thanks to Pyro for coming onto this video and helping me with it. Go subscribe to him, show him some love on his channel, because he is absolutely amazing, and if you enjoy my videos, you will absolutely adore his. He does what I do and is just way better with what he does than I ever could do, and I love his channel. So please check him out. He is also the reason why I was interested in making a video and playing Halo, so it just made sense for me to have him on this video for that reason as well. And it also just made me realize how grateful I am, not to just have started YouTube, but to have the amazing community that I have and to have made the amazing friends due to YouTube that I have now. Seriously, thank you guys for watching my videos. Seriously. If you made it to the end of the video here, leave a like. Kind of been that awful, right, if you stuck around this long. Subscribe if you decided to watch more and more of my videos. But now check out my Halo review that made me feel very welcomed by the community, which is Halo Infinite, and here I will link a video of Lord Pyromon that I think you'll quite enjoy. Yet that's all the time I have for now, and with that, ciao netto ciao, Kuro with the fuck me, that I'm not over